Hey, good morning, everybody. We are continuing in chapter 1 of Paul's letter to the Philippians, and this is such a loaded chapter. In fact, it's a loaded letter with such good things in it. Now, in the first verses of this letter, Paul is just absolutely gushing about his appreciation for the Philippian church and the people in it. He loves them very, very, very deeply, and he's grateful that they have been such faithful partners in sharing the good news of Jesus. And Paul assures them that God has got their back. He is watching over them. He is not only working through them, but he's working in them, and he's not going to be, and he's going to continue that process until Jesus comes back again. Now, in today's reading, Paul I think he shares with us a perspective that's absolutely vital for all of us to develop in our lives. And it only happens as we understand who Jesus really is. Let me read for you verses 12 through 14. It starts out, he says, I want you to know, my dear brothers and sisters, that everything that has happened to me here has helped to spread the good news. For everyone here, including the whole palace guard, knows that I am in chains because of Christ. And because of my imprisonment, most of the believers here have gained confidence and boldly speak God's message without fear. Remember, Paul is in prison, not for a crime, but he's there because he's sharing the gospel. He's sharing the good news of Jesus. From the outside, many would think, wow, poor Paul, he's a victim here. But Paul is not taking that perspective at all. In fact, he's saying, I see this as a new opportunity. Not only is everyone, prisoners, guards, everyone, getting to hear about Jesus, but also Christians who are also in jail for the same reason are gaining new bold confidence about being outspoken for Jesus. Without this prison intersection that they're having there, many people would not probably hear about Jesus. And Paul goes on. It doesn't stop there. It's more about this perspective. While Paul has been in prison, he's heard that there's many people preaching, continuing to preach the gospel out in the outside world. Some are doing it for pure motives. They love Jesus and they love Paul, and they realize that Paul's continued work needs to go on. And still, there are others that Paul hears about who were jealous of Paul, and maybe they are saying bad things about Paul as they go on and preach the gospel. And Paul says they're doing it for selfish ambition, which could mean a lot of things. Maybe they want the spotlight, they want popularity, or whatever else selfish ambition could possibly mean. But Paul has this vital perspective that says, well, you know what? Either way, God is in charge. The gospel is being preached. And once again, Paul is saying that he said, I would not have chosen it this way, but I am trusting God. Let's continue on, because this perspective continues in an even more powerful way in verse 20. He says, for I fully expect and hope that I will never be ashamed, but I will continue to be bold for Christ as I have in the past. And I trust that my life will bring honor to Christ, whether I live or die. For to me, living means living for Christ, and dying is even better. But if I live, I can do more fruitful work for Christ. So I really don't know which is better. I'm torn between two desires. I long to go to be with Christ, which would be far better for me. But for your sakes, it's better that I continue to live. Now, some might just call this another form of fatalism, that, sort of the whatever happens, happens, I can't control anything sort of way of looking at life. But Paul's perspective is very different from that. He knows the one who is in control. We go back to the first verses of the chapter, verse 6. The one who began this good work in him has promised to bring it to completion. There are many things in life that we cannot control, but even in the midst of that, God is still working. And Paul tells us that even death, which would seem to many to be the ultimate defeat. Even death turns out to be a victory, because what's better than spending the rest of our existence in a more full and complete way with Jesus? My prayer for us today is that each of us can have that vital perspective that Paul is bringing, that, yeah, life is bringing a lot of difficult things that maybe we wouldn't have chosen, but God is still working. God is still in control. And we would not live with a fear for the future or even in the midst of our present circumstances, but we'll see opportunities and new ways to trust Jesus. Have an amazing day.
If these devotional videos are helpful to you, subscribe to our channel and click the notification button so you know when we post a new video. And of course, please share them with others.